It is not over until it's over. Literally 2 days before, she's saying that she's so disappointed because she could have done more, but she couldn't see what was on the horizon. Welcome to the Jasmine Star Show, where today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be recording this podcast in 2 different time frames. So you're going to hear this episode debut as one podcast, and if you're watching on YouTube, it will be one video. But we're going to be recording them at different times so that we actually get a full holistic look at what it means to have a series of tests and being okay as an entrepreneur. So with the permission of 2 phenomenal entrepreneurs, I'm going to be talking about their businesses as case studies. So we're going to have an inside look into a 7-figure entrepreneur creating a strategic test. Now, the goal for this podcast would be for you to learn how to create a strategic test and understand the best ways to grow for your business. Now, here again, we're getting super meta. We're going to test this type of show on the podcast the same way that entrepreneurs are going to be testing some of the ideas that we have laid out for them. If you don't like this test, let me know. If you like this test, let me know. We actually just use this feedback to gauge what you find the most valuable and what we can make more of. So on that note, let's dive in. Okay, so when we build our business, it is easy to think that we're doing it wrong. It's easy to think that we're going to make the wrong decision. And it's easy to think that there is a right way of doing it. Resist the temptation to think that something is easy or to think that somebody else has it different. They don't, and we don't. And that just takes up mental mind space. Now, there is a difference between a theory and a test. So here's the exact definition of a theory. A theory is a systems of ideas to explain something. A theory is a systems of ideas to explain something. Now, here's the difference in definition of a test. A test is a procedure intended to establish the reliability of something, especially before widespread use. Establish the reliability. So in my mind, I believe entrepreneurs should be running a series of tests. Why? We want to know the reliability of something before widespread use. And widespread use is like a theory. Once we have a lot of tests, we're going to have a very strong theory. My belief in business is I want to do as many tests as possible before I have a theory. So when we started launching Social Curator, it was tempting to have a theory of how we should launch it. But instead, we decided to have this series of tests. And our test was, well, we can launch this by way of challenges, an email challenge, an in-app challenge. We can launch it by way of evergreen. We can launch it by way of paid ads strictly to cold audiences. We can launch this by way of email funnels, by boot camps, by webinars. So what did we do? A series of tests over years to figure out what is our theory of how we should best launch it. And so I work alongside 7-figure entrepreneurs, and there was a conversation that she had asked in the group, and she had said, what strategies have you implemented that has contributed to higher conversions? Now, instead of me telling her what to do, I said, well, tell me what your current ideas are. What are you currently doing right now? What is your mechanism? What is your mode? What is your launch strategy? What are you doing? And she said that right now, she will run ads to a free opt-in. And then number 1, she has an order bump. Somebody can pay to have a transaction to add on something to that freebie. Number 2 is they will get another email with a 20-minute tripwire for a bigger discount to join her community. And then number 3, if they don't join during that 20-minute tripwire, they highlight an exclusive offer for members only that would drive somebody in during a 7-day cart promotion. So we went from ad to freebie to cart bump, small buy, to a 20-minute tripwire discount into the membership. And if they don't take that up, then they go into an exclusive offer. So that's what she explained to me. And then I asked her clarifying questions. So if you're following along, I would ask you, what is your current offer? Like how are you selling the thing that you're selling? And once you tell me, I'm probably going to ask the following questions. Number 1, what have you sold in the past? Like, are you selling the same thing? Are we comparing apples to apples? Number 2, is this a paid promotion only? Or are you going to add on any sort of education value add? Now, what she told me is there will be no education. There will be no challenge. There'll be no webinar. There'll be no boot camp. There'll be no like warm Q&A, get to know you. No, it is literally an ad to freebie, and then the rest of the funnel is fully automated. But I would ask you, are you running ads to conversion, or are you doing ads to a warm up, a get to know you, build know, like, and trust, then conversion? Question number 3, what is one thing that your paying customers are asking for? What is one thing that your paying customers are asking for that you don't currently provide? And then number 4, what do people wish you sold? So as you're going through and you're saying, hey, Jasmine, how do I increase my conversions? And I'm a 7-figure entrepreneur and I'm trying to scale to 8. I want you to answer those 4 questions after you told me how you sell. Okay, so these clarifying questions help me understand, number 1, what was her prior test? I needed to understand what has she tried, because I don't want to have a theory. I want to know, what of all of your tests? Now let's add some more tests before I come up with a theory. And number 2, I wanted to know her prior test, and I wanted to know her current theory. Her prior test was, this is how we've always done it. And my current theory is, I'm going to do it again, but I hope for higher conversions. And I thought to myself, we don't get higher conversions by doing the same thing if you're not happy with the current conversion. So let's go back through, and I'm going to give you how she answered those 4 questions. Question number 1 was, what did she sell in the past as a promotion to boost conversions? She wanted higher conversions. And so she says, okay, I offer a 20% off the annual membership. So how do you get somebody to buy? She says, well, I was offering a discount. Cool. Number 2, is this a paid promotion only? And she said, yes. Like I said, it's paid ads to a freebie, then the tripwire. And if they don't take within that 20 minutes, then they're going to go into a discount into the annual offer. Number 3, before I get to number 3, she said, okay, this is how it currently is. Jasmine, do I hear you say to me that I should be having some sort of educational component, somewhere that people can get to know me or get to see like my point of view? And my answer was, generally speaking, yes. It's not a hard and fast rule, but if you want to increase your conversions and you're doing paid traffic to cold audiences, you will warm them up by them getting to know you, them getting your insights, them understanding you. Question number 3, what is something that people are always asking for? And she said for her offer that people are always asking for gifting ideas. I was like, cool, made a little note. Question number 4, what is something people wish you sold? And she said, very specific DIY projects. So now I said, okay, I have known your previous tests. I know your current theory, and you want to boost conversions. So the original question was all about conversions, but I wanted to immediately compare results. I want to put a apples to apples comparison. I want to put a test versus a test. So I had said, in the past, you have tried at least 3 times to do paid ads into an expiring tripwire. Cool. You have that data. What I'm inviting you to do is to do an educational offer. I want you to do a freebie to a live class, or just run ads to a live class. Have them come in and have them see what you are about. And of course, she was like, okay, a little bit uncomfortable. This is a little bit different than what she's normally. And I said, fine, but everything's a test. Everything's a test before we build out a theory for then how you scale. So because this entrepreneur was willing to test, I wanted to know the conversion rate from her previous efforts. Because I said, after we tried this new thing, I want to compare. And here's the thing, does it make me a little bit nervous to make this podcast into two parts? Yeah, because you're going to know if she succeeded or not. You're going to know if this test was a success. You're going to know if like what I'm saying or my advice or my thoughts are worth their weight in gold. Her previous conversion, when she was just doing paid ads, she would have a 10% conversion. So people who she brought in from the freebie to the tripwire, she was having a 10% conversion into the annual membership. And her cost per lead was $1.04. So we're just getting data. We're just going to come back, and the next time I record this, we're going to come back and we're going to compare. Now, once I have those test 1 results, I now know what I need to see from test 2 for it to perform better. Now, what I want to do is I want to use the same process that I just went through with a service base. She has a membership, and I want to use the same test, and I want to optimize it for a product-based entrepreneur. Here is another entrepreneur who has a 7-figure business and she's trying to scale to 8. And she says, I think I need to work in a slightly different way. How do I optimize for conversions? Now, not all businesses are the same. So my advice was shaped a little bit differently. So, working with an amazing company, and they are having, because I'm recording this before Black Friday. They are having a holiday Black Friday, and she's running ads. In the past, she has run ads on platforms like Etsy and Amazon. And I said, there's this huge opportunity for you to run Meta ads and perhaps even TikTok ads. Now, this entrepreneur wanted to run ideas on Meta, and she wanted to run them directly to her website. And I freaking love this idea, because when you're running ads on Amazon or Etsy, you're running ads and those conversions happen on the platform. So Etsy and Amazon get to keep all of the customer data. They have all of that information, and you as the business owner, well, you just become the supplier. But when you're running ads on Meta, Meta sends that customer to your website. When they get to your website, you have all of the customer data. You get to see how your products are converting because you're going to pixel every single one of those products and on those pages. You're going to see how much cart sale is. You're going to have that customer information so that you have their data so that you can email them in the future or provide them with better ads or have a navigation where you can continuously follow up later on. So why I love this is the customer data is her own, and she can build a newsletter database of customers who've already bought from her. That on her website, when she's using Meta to go to her website, she can have bundling and upsells. So if you're on Amazon, there's not an ability for her to upsell within her own product suite. On her website, if somebody bought product X, she can say, well, would you like to buy product Y for a 10% discount? Oh, bundling and upsells. I also like that if somebody went to her website and they filled up a cart, but they didn't buy, you can run retargeting ads to cart abandon. These are so effective during the holidays. You could also have retargeting ads. If somebody went to a product page and they didn't buy, you can follow them up and around on Meta to go back to those products before. And there is a difference on Meta. When you go to Etsy and when you go to Amazon, that's intent-based marketing. Somebody is going and looking for that particular product on Amazon, and then maybe your listing comes up. They know what they're looking for. But on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, that's stumble upon marketing, right? You have search-based marketing, I know what I'm looking for, and stumble upon, oh, I didn't know that I wanted this product, but Meta served it up to me. That's really, really powerful to get into an untapped market, which is why on Meta and on TikTok, you can run those ads directly to their website. So I was like, dude, let's try this. We're going to create a test. Maybe running ads on Amazon and Etsy is more beneficial, but we don't know until we try. So we needed to get the metrics from her previous test, the test that she ran on Etsy and Amazon. So the Etsy conversions from her ads were about 10%. Now her cost of customer acquisition was $9, and the average order on Etsy was $41. Now I'm sharing these stats because when I come back and I record this, I want to know, was our theory that we can have more opportunities to have a higher cart order from a Meta ad? That's what my theory is. So I want to share a couple things that this entrepreneur had shared. I have almost zero control of the ads that they show on Etsy. On Meta, you have a lot of control. On the old Etsy algorithm, she said, I ranked well on page 1. I had good SEO, I had good photos. Now the new search algorithm on Etsy is personalized. So what I see on page 1 and what you see on page 1 and what she sees on page 1, they're gonna be all different. And that's really hurt the effectiveness of her ads. And the only thing that she can control on Etsy is she can control how much she spends per day and which listings that she can advertise. Great. Now we have a data set. Now, the reason I'm walking through each of these entrepreneurs, we have a product-based membership entrepreneur, we have a service-based entrepreneur with a membership, and then we have a product-based business owner. I want to walk you through 2 different tests that we are applying to these businesses so that in the future, we take the lessons from these tests and we apply them in the future for better results. Is she or any of these entrepreneurs taking a risk by testing something new? Yes. But is it such a risk that it's going to be damaging to what they had done previously? No, because they could still run those other tests. This entrepreneur is still going to run ads on Etsy and Amazon. Do your thing, honey. Give yourself a part of that budget to go towards Meta and let them compete ad to ad. The other person who is doing cold audiences to a tripwire, hey, run that, go ahead, but also give them an offer to have a live training to see if that converts better. Now, going back in data and analytics to the product-based business owner on Amazon, her ads were converting on Amazon at 6.5%. Her cost of customer acquisition was $8, and the average order on Amazon was $36. Great. Now I have the data and analytics that I want to use to beat. If Meta can have a higher conversion than 10%, if Meta can have a lower cost of acquisition than $8, and if for the average cart order is over 41, boom, done. We found another avenue for this entrepreneur to really scale. So here's what happens when we test. This is what I told these two entrepreneurs. And as you're listening and watching this, this is what's going to happen. Number one, the logical part of your brain. Okay, you can tell yourself, oh, this test is going to make me stronger. The logical part of your brain is, well, we're going to even get better in the future based on the results that we get from this test. The logical part of your brain is, oh, this is all part of the game. We're just learning how to become stronger players. That's the logical part. Now let's talk about when you test the illogical part. This is actually called the amygdala. This is like where fear, when you want to know where does fear reside in my brain, it's dwelling in the amygdala. What is going to be firing as you're making these tests, we can get worse results. The amygdala is telling you, this could ruin our revenue goals. The fear is telling you, Q4 funds, they're going to have to float us for Q1 and Q2 of next year. And are we going to pull through? The amygdala, your fear is telling you, does this put our business at risk? When you have two sides of your brain, the logical and the illogical part, I want you, if and when you experience this, I'm going to recommend to you Dr. Amen's framework to get rid of ANTS. ANTS is an acronym for automatic negative thoughts. How do you get rid of those thoughts? When you're doing something really difficult in your business, when you're trying something new, I want you to ask yourself the 4 following questions to transform the way that you're thinking. When you're testing and you have negative thoughts, you're going to say, number 1, is this true? Is this negative thought true? So let's go back to those negative thoughts. We could get worse results. Is that true? Like, is it positively true? No, it's not true because you don't actually have the results yet. Negative thought, this could ruin our revenue goals. But is that true? Is it positively true? If it's not true, we got to move on. Let's ask ourselves question number 2. Can I absolutely know it's true? No, you can't know if it's going to ruin your results. You can't know if you're going to get worse results. So let's move on to question number 3 to get rid of negative thoughts when you're testing. How do I react when I think this thought? When I am worried about getting worse results, when I'm worried about the income, when I'm worried about how things are going to fare, how do I act? Worried, stressed, overwhelmed? That is actually going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy to you not getting the things that you want. So if you don't like the way that you're acting when you think those thoughts and they're not true, then you have to move on to question number 4. Who would I be without this thought? If I did not think I was going to get bad results, if I didn't think that we were going to be in financial ruin, who would I be? I would be confident. I would be pushing forward. I would feel that I knew the next best step to take. So, as you and as these two entrepreneurs are working towards testing something into the holiday season, I, just like you, I'm going to be waiting on bated breath. At the time of this recording, I have told these two entrepreneurs the very thing I just told you. We don't know what's going to happen. But guess what? Unless we know that for sure, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that it's going to be ruined and it's going to be terrible, then we're going to act like it's a success. Because how we act and how we show up in the middle of our business as we are testing and trying, as we apply to build a new theory, is going to determine its outcome. And I am not to say we're going to forsake all other avenues of previous promotions and lessons. Let them run, but give us time and space to test something new so that our theory of expansion and scaling becomes true and grows into fruition. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this episode now. And when we come back, we're gonna give all the results and we're gonna tell you how the results fared. But let me just tell you that you and these entrepreneurs will have a decision on how you show up. I hope that you choose to step into the faith and the confidence it will take to turn your tests and buttress your theories. I'll see you guys again on the flip side. Welcome back. Y'all, this is the first time I have ever recorded a 2-part podcast episode. So we recorded part 1. Y'all know, you guys are listening and watching. I know, I don't have to explain this, right? Like I was gonna give a recap, but you guys are literally coming off the recap. We're months into this, y'all. Okay, so let me know if you like this format. I had this idea that I kind of wanted to do a case study. No, I'm sorry. I'm gonna correct myself. I just said I kind of had an idea. I did not kind of have an idea. I had an idea. I'm not gonna diminutize or make small or apologize for an idea that I have that I am testing. I had an idea, period. I had an idea that I wanted to do a case study of sorts with mastermind members, but I also wanted to give you a sneak peek of a behind the scenes of a promotion. So y'all know part 1, it was all guesstimations, hope, la-di-da, this is what we're gonna do, and then there's reality. So I'm excited to share their outcomes, but please remember 2 things with what I'm about to share with you. Number 1, promotions hardly ever go as planned. When you're in a promotion, it reveals systemic and systematic gaps in the business. It also showcases ways for you to grow, but that only happens when you are in it. And when you are in it, there will always be unexpected hurdles. So number 1, promotions hardly ever go as planned. And number 2, it ain't over till it's over. That's it. It is not over until it's over. And if you do not have the guts to play out until the final buzzer rings, don't start the game. Oh, why am I coming in with an attitude? Why? I think, y'all, I just had too much caffeine this morning. We're going to start. What I want to do is I want to give a recap. I shared with you the stories from Amanda of Bloom Owl, and I shared the stories with Abby of Abby Kirsten Collections. So I want to be very, very clear here. I didn't use their names. And as I was going through and watching what they were doing, I said, ladies, can you please allow me to share what it is you are doing? Because there is no embarrassment or shame. There should just be sheer pride in how you guys are showing up. And they agreed. And so I want to say thank you to them. So I shared their stories in the past, and Amanda of Bloom L, she has a product-based business. So first part, we're going to focus on what happened with Amanda. Second part, we're going to be focusing on what happened with Abby. Now, I'm going to be sharing legitimately from their words. I was communicating with them in Slack, and I was getting updates, and we were kind of like pivoting and changing things on the go. So Amanda, Monday, November 25th, this is before Black Friday. She's like, here's a few key takeaways. Black Friday prep needs to be done way sooner and not on the fly. Number 2, I need a more seasoned team to support the momentum, because what was happening in her business right now, the momentum started picking up. So this was great until she realized, oh my God, I need a seasoned team, and we don't actually have everybody that we need right now. But she said, lesson learned, I am building this into next year. Number 3, the systems I'm putting in place are killer and are going to support in a bigger way and an easier way in 2025. But I'm touching the stove to figure out what systems I need. Like, when I read that, I was like, yes, but we all do that. We don't know the systems that we need until we have touched the stove. And I'm so happy that she's identifying this. And she says, it's always through fire that I figure out what works best. And then there's this different pressure that it becomes a must to find a better way. And the drastic changes have to happen overnight. She says that in the middle of her launch, it changed from we need to do this to we need to do this right now. Have you ever been there? I was reading this and I was like, Amanda, you got this. She's like, I don't think this is the update you were looking for, but there's just a few thoughts. This year, we just crossed the $1 million mark on Amazon only, and that's prior to this year's Christmas forecast. She does the vast amount of her business during Christmas. I feel like Black Friday 2024 prep is going to be exponentially higher, and it pays off this year, but what it's really doing is paying off for the groundwork to play at a different level next year. These results and what I'm learning now go beyond Black Friday. Saturday, November 30th, the day after Black Friday. Here's my quick update. Etsy stayed the same as last year, which is a win because we've been down significantly year over year on Etsy. And on Amazon, we did 10x. You guys, I literally, look at this on camera. I have chills. She 10x'd what she did on Amazon. That is mind-blowing. How many of us can say we had a 10x growth? She said, I hit my stretch projection for November yesterday, so anything that we do today is gravy on top. She's like, but here's what I didn't do. I did not get my website launched. I want to do a proper launch and I want to have it ready to go. So remember in part 1, she had said she wants to get her website up and going because she wants to get that data analytics, that user, the retargeting. She can't do that on third-party sites like Etsy and Amazon. She's like, so this year I'm going to do it. She's like, I didn't. Okay. So I didn't have a strong enough team support to support all of the channels in the way that I wanted. She's like, I had to make that call. With that said, I am still going to be promoting on our website and packaging and laying the groundwork for next year's. Now, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but this is what she wrote to me. In some ways, I'm still feeling disappointed with Black Friday because we had a couple years of really killer Black Friday sales. This is a huge improvement overall, especially in the last 2 years. I still have a twinge of disappointment that we aren't doing as many 6-figure days as we used to since Etsy changed its algorithm. Another thing I didn't do was getting my ads going on Meta. I am just trying to hang in there and get orders out at this point. I truly believe the business work that I do today takes 6 to 12 months to pay off. So I'm getting positive, but I'm just laying the groundwork for a better year next year. And so when I got that message on Saturday, I immediately felt that pain. She 10x'd what she did. And what does she feel? A little disappointment. Friends, that's normal. There will always be more we want to do. But if we are giving it 100% of our effort, time, focus, and energy, we can't ask for anything more. And I think that she's getting grounded in, I had a breakout in Amazon and I didn't do all of this other stuff. But what is she gonna do in Q1? She's getting her website up. She's gonna be getting Meta ads going. She's going to get it done. She might not just get it done on her timeline. Tuesday, November 3rd, the day after Cyber Monday. So her sale went from Black Friday to Cyber Monday. And this is what she messages in all exclamation points and cap locks. Cyber Monday beat Black Friday. First time since 2020. So what we've done is raise the prices 15 to 20% today to help control order volume, which increases our profit margin by 50%. We are so excited at the growth opportunities. I want to pause here because literally 2 days before, she's saying that she's so disappointed because she could have done more, but she couldn't see what was on the horizon. It is not over until it's over. Monday, December 15th. This is about 6 weeks after that promotion. She writes, I believe entirely that our success this Black Friday is from the work that we put in all year long. She's like, having a successful Black Friday promotion is a lot like getting in shape to go to the beach. If you try to work out and get fit the week before your vacation, you're going to struggle. You might be able to take or make a few last minute adjustments, but you're going to see the real transformation, but you're not going to see the real transformation that you were hoping for. Now, if your business is already like quote unquote beach ready, she's like, if your business is in great shape, a last minute Black Friday campaign might just work fine. You already have a strong foundation. Your systems are up and running smoothly. Your email list is engaged. Your product pages are optimized and your audience trusts you. Throwing together a quick discount or flash sale in the final hours could still yield great results because you've already put in the hard work. But if your business isn't in great shape, AKA beach shape, getting and successfully pulling off a Black Friday sale at the last minute isn't going to work. She says this in reminding to herself, and she writes, the success doesn't come overnight. It takes months or even years of preparation. I could not be more proud of her. And at the end of her promotion, Amanda said she was extraordinarily proud of what happened in 2024. But she also realizes that she needs more systems in place for her to have more balance during their peak seasons. I'm very, very honored to walk this journey with her because she's starting 2025 having laid out what she wants to do for the year and the changes that she's going to make. But I'm more excited because she allowed us an inside look into the ups and downs of a promotion for a product-based business and in a business where Q4 does the majority of the revenue for the year. Thank you, Amanda. I appreciate you. If you guys want to check her out, you guys can definitely check out her business. Yes. And you want to know what? By the time this thing airs, her website is going to be up. So Amanda, you can find and search more for her. Bloom Owl will be able to link it in the show notes. Okay, now let's get on to Abby. Now we're shifting gears. Abby is a digital-based business. Now, Abby Kirsten Collections she helps and empowers other people within communities, and she sells resources and digital offerings to help people pursue their creativity. She is a crafting queen. So this is where Abby was on Tuesday, November 26th. She said, Jasmine, now remember how we said, okay, you should do a webinar. And she's like, I don't know how I feel about it. I'm still uncertain. You guys, her webinar was converting at 24%. Converting at 24%. Most webinars don't even have an attendance rate of 24%, and she is converting at 24%. And she says that we have a 59-cent lead for their opt-in. You guys, hold on. If you don't understand the ads world, 59 cents for somebody to opt in for a lead magnet. And on that lead magnet page, they're inviting them to the webinar. She's paying 59 cents to get people into a webinar that's converting at 24%. My mind is blown. This is Tuesday, November 26th. Monday, December 2nd. This is 7 days into her 14-day launch. Essentially, it's a halfway point. And I checked in. I was like, how are you feeling? Because it looks like you're killing the game. She said, quote, we have a 3.86 ROAS, return on ad spend, and we will likely double what we did last year. Okay, side note, they're going to double. They're halfway through it, and she can forecast that they're going to double. We smashed the ceiling of our previous year's numbers, and we have 7 days left to go, and I'm happy about it. My biggest takeaway during the live class was stop being afraid to sell. That mindset shift was very helpful for me. Because of this, we set our good, better, best goals, and we already hit our better. I'm going to celebrate that. Okay, so that was at the halfway point of her promotion. So I connected with her on December 16th. This is after the promotion. And I said, how are you feeling? What's going on? And Abby tells me that they surpassed their best goal. So she set like a good, better, best. They surpassed their best goal, and they doubled what they did last year. Like doubled it. She came in and we had conversations about doing things in her business in a new and different way. And she wasn't sure how it was going to happen. And then what did she do? She took quick, scrappy action, and she put together a webinar that converted at 24%. This is mind-blowing to me. They doubled what they did last year. So 3 main things. Number 1, the 59-cent cost per leads, those CPLs for the opt-in was a tripwire. So the opt-in was to a new cold audience for a free Christmas template, and then it went to a 30-minute tripwire for the membership. This is incredible. The second question I asked her is, were you running ads directly to the webinar? Remember how I told you this was a last-minute idea that we threw at her and she took action? She says, because my runway was so short, I didn't have the capacity to set up ads just for the workshop. Instead, I used the leads from the freebie opt-in, the one that she had just mentioned, and she gave them a one-click registration in a follow-up email after they got their freebie. And then she had sent also an invite to her entire existing list. She has hundreds of thousands of people on her list. She's like, but next year, I'm going to run webinar ads too. Side note, okay, here's the thing. Remember how I said, I'm not, she had said, I said, hey, I think you should do a webinar. She's like, I am not sure. She runs the webinar, and look at this queen. She converts so well that she's already saying, no, the webinar is working into our promotional strategy, and we're going to be running ads directly to that because we know its conversion rate. Yes, this is what we do. We take small, scrappy action. We test ideas. We get like the minimum viable product, the MVP of it, and then we test it. And now, already 12 months in advance of, she's planning on doing that. Yes and amen. Lastly, I asked Abby, what was your biggest lesson? This is her response: that selling is a form of servitude. It's ridiculous to allow a handful of people with insecure mouths to steal from thousands of others who I can serve. Ooh. She also says, I also realize that while those comments can and have helped over the years, there are fewer and fewer between than I realized. When I looked at the data, I was magnifying something in my head that wasn't there. What we focus on expands. Fearing judgment that people might make, what they might say has never paid the bills and it's never served anyone better. Not to mention, this fear is what kept me from being my authentic self, which will attract the right people and deter the wrong ones. And that is something to celebrate. Congratulations. If you want to check out more, I'm going to be listing and linking and mentioning how to find Abby of Abby Kirsten Collections in the show notes as well. But what is our biggest takeaway? We had a before version of what their Black Friday and Cyber Monday promotions would look like, and now we have an after. We could celebrate that oftentimes we have goals and ambitions and we cannot see the end. And so we'll go back to the two main points. Promotions never go as planned. It reveals our gaps, it shows opportunities for growth, and there's a lot of unexpected hurdles. But the second thing that we learn is that it ain't over until it's over. What we have so crystal clear distilled from two entrepreneurs is they give us an inside look. They gave us a behind the scenes, and they said, we're gonna take a risk and we're gonna try new things and we're gonna get uncomfortable. And yes, Jasmine, you're gonna be alongside of us and you're gonna push us and you're gonna prod us and you're gonna encourage us and you're also gonna challenge us. And I'm so happy that they allowed me to do that because these results are freaking incredible. It looked different than what they expected. It had taken longer, but it was better than what they hoped for. But here's the thing, their business doesn't end in 2024. Now in 2025, what are they doing? They're setting themselves for even bigger levels of success. And I hope that is your takeaway. It will not go as planned. It will not look as you had hoped, but it will be better than you had anticipated as long as you don't stop. Thank you for watching and listening to the Jasmine Star Show. If you liked this version, this type of podcast episode, please let us know. Like, send me a DM, share it on social media. Like, when you share it, it empowers other people to find it. When you leave reviews, we get feedback and we're able to shout you out. If there is somebody who you feel would really, maybe they're going through it. Maybe they're in a hard spot. Maybe they are looking ways to optimize or get their business better. Send them this episode as a way to say, look we're not alone. There is a beginning, there is a middle, and there's never an end if we choose not to quit. Thank you for watching and listening to The Jasmine Star Show.